Base. Yes, thank you. Okay. Sorry, YouTube users. We had connectivity issues. Until that gets rectified, if it happens, we'll switch over then. But right now, welcome to webinar number 43, December 2025. Say hi, Rick.
Hi, Rick. Classics never die.
Yeah, the classics never die. So, what's up? What do we got news-wise? Anything?
Not that I know of. There was an update. There was an error in the newsletter.
Oh, the update letter, and that was that the mobile station update error, or
Yeah. It's actually 5.6, and we had 5.9 in there. So I'm hoping that the next update will be 5.9, and it'll be correct.
in our current update for the CS3? Let me get that in case anybody is not looking. I believe it's was there did it change numbers or is it still
No, it did not change.
2.5.2 parentheses 6? Yeah, it didn't change a number, did it? So it must be probably minor.
It was update for the mobile station and icons for the center station.
Icons
So the version number did not change for anything except the mobile station.
in
And it's a
general.
wired mobile station, not the wireless either.
Oh, the wired one. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Good to know.
At least as far as I know, there was no mention of the wireless
Okay.
being updated.
All right. And we did notify you will be at Springfield.
Yes.
Okay. This what is it? We don't really call this a holiday special, do we?
Oh, yeah, I didn't bring the tree.
I didn't want to mention it to you, you sucker. Ta-da!
Nice.
Yeah. Well, the
And
lights
let's
are
see.
blown out
How's
because
that how's that work going around the layout?
it doesn't. It stops in every tunnel.
Well, actually, I'm heading to Reynolds this weekend, so my tree is packed away in my luggage.
Oh, you didn't have your tree, Yeah, I've had a 3D printer, and that's what this thing is for a T lamp. But that's beside the point. There's a Christmas tree, and you missed out because you forgot yours. I just turned the voltage down on it because with a fresh battery or an old battery, it was only doing red.
Mm. Yeah,
And
red always lights first.
yeah, but then to get the all full colors, I got to crank up the voltage, and you can see it's
Yeah,
kind of blowing out the screen.
yeah.
So, but that's the Christmas lights. People enjoy that. Yeah, you usually had your tree, so this will be
I
the one
usually
year I
do.
get
I
to show
totally
mine.
forgot. Totally forgot.
There you go.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Bah humbug.
Well, you're traveling. What do you do? How was you recently went to an in-store, right?
No, we flew down to Atlanta to Trains,
Oh yeah.
Trainz, to pick up an LGB display, and
Oh.
then drove 11 and a half hours back with it.
And what's the status of that display right now? In
It's
a
in the
crate.
warehouse. I need to work on it. The
Okay.
trip was not kind to it.
The trip up here was not kind to
Yeah.
it. Would you have fastened it down with scotch tape?
No, but we literally had to cram it in the SUV they gave us to rent.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. So look forward to that in a future presentation, I suppose.
Probably just pictures, but not anything. I'm not going to have a webinar with it in here.
Is it going to get set up at the warehouse?
Yeah, it'll be here in the showroom. Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's a showroom display. I
Yeah.
forgot what you told me about that. It's not a
It's, I think, three tiers,
wow.
three 4 foot loops.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I got that. I don't know if I received a picture of you from your boss.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know if you had it, but we'll maybe look that up later. Anyways, Anyway,
I can duel with you.
yeah, well, the perspective is interesting. So let's see. But I'll attack
If
that.
it's unless it's the one that I sent to him.
Did you? I don't know if you sent it to him. Let's see. Give us a second. We are kind of goofing around here, aren't we? We should probably get focused. What did I do with that? Well, did he send that an email? Maybe. So, anyways, what else we got? We got anything business wise we can talk about?
Um, no, we did on the latest what was it? The latest email for this newsletter.
Oh, damn.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we took a picture a for a Christmas card.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so there's a couple questions that come to mind.
It was not a good angle for me.
It looks it's almost because the globe isn't round, obviously. But the other thing is, and I just noticed this now, your head looks really small in this picture.
Yeah, yeah, what can I say?
So what happened there? That's
There's nothing I can do. We
that's
can't
kind
just
of
take a
hilarious.
picture. Can't just redo the picture because I didn't like me.
Well, I can always crop that out, the ugly part of you, which is basically everything. Okay, yeah, anyway, sorry I interrupted your story there. What was going on?
I don't know what was I talking about.
Yeah, okay. Um, anyways, anything, well, if we follow the natural order of things and we don't have any questions yet, we can, do you want to just kick right into your article?
Well, here, let me before we do that, because
Okay.
I'm not quite ready. Share. Am I allowed to share here? I don't see
Yes,
the
you
share.
should already be co-hosted.
Oh, share. Oh, it's because I minimized. Here. Okay, hang on one second. Let me along that topic. Um, let me show you. Here we go. There you go.
Oh, jeez. Nice photoshopping there, buddy. Oh, gosh.
So yeah, there's the Christmas card, everyone. You'll be lucky if you get one. So,
That's hilarious. Some faces there I don't even recognize.
ah, the fun we have, huh?
Nice going. The price we pay just to do your webinars.
Yes.
The price we pay to keep you folks entertained.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're entertained, but we are.
Yeah. We are our own worst enemy here.
Okay, let's see. Newsletter. That's right.
Newsletter. That's what we're here.
Once
That's what they're
again,
here for, I think.
I probably, yeah, I think so. I probably should have read this over again while we were sitting around doing nothing, but we like to wing it.
Wing it. What were you doing? Converting a locomotive.
No,
Oh,
um, I did MU, article on the
oh,
MU.
the multi-unit.
Yeah, yeah, and it was kind of fun in a way. It's kind of work also. Um, I guess I can get into it here. I started out with two locomotives, the 3170, which is the Swedish wooden locomotive.
The
And
Swedish wooden one.
yeah,
Oh, okay. And your multi. Yeah,
well,
and that's so my misconception here was it's a two loc set, but it's not. You're just
no,
trying
it's
to
not.
create a multi-unit.
Yes,
Okay. It looks completely different without the body on it.
that's a very astute observation there.
Yes. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm the brains of the operation.
It shows. It shows. So Here are the two locomotives. Obviously, let me kind of zoom in here for you. And yeah, they excuse me, they gentleman wanted me to convert them, and he wanted to do a um two locomotive uh obviously MU set with these pulling extra cars. And so he has either extra cars or two sets of these where he wants to pull all the passenger cars. And those are those longer wooden passenger cars. So I didn't cover how I um how I converted these because I've done conversion articles before. So this is them after I converted them. And basically what I had to do is I had to figure out the lighting configuration because the after talking to the customer, the he wanted the front lights on in the front locomotive going forward and the rear lights on in the back locomotive for the rear locomotive. And you there isn't independent lighting on these. It's just one light bulb for the three headlights it has. And he was aware of that. So there really wasn't anything I could do about that. And so I just mapped both locomotives the same. So there is a function you can see here that's yellow in the function that it turns the rear light on in a locomotive. They both do it, so you can put either locomotive in the front or the back. But I did give them a name of their 109s, and so I gave them the nines at 109A and 109B. I think I actually did, yeah, 109A and 109B. The designation for the locomotive is D109 as far as what it's actually classified as, but I just shortened it for the locomotive name when I programmed the decoder.
Is that
So, pardon me.
is that function, the lighting function, that's not inherent for each locomotive, right? Or is that a custom function that you had to add in?
I just put an extra function in to turn the rear
Okay.
light on.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's no big deal. It's just a mapping function.
Yeah, yeah. I gotcha.
Um, and like I said, I did them both the same so that they would he could put either one in front. So setting up the MU, you basically select that you want to create an MU set, and a pop-up window appears. And this is what the pop-up window looks like, right here. Obviously, there's nothing populated in it when you first put it in there. And like many things on the central station, you just drag and drop the locomotives you want in the MU set. It looks to me like there's a space for four. I didn't try any more than two. It would probably do three and it looks like it would do four, but I'm not sure if it would do five, and I'm not sure why you would want to either.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that that whole thing would create a scrolling window, much like they do with the event.
Right, right. And that was kind of a question, but um, I wanted to get this article out, so I didn't want to do a whole lot of testing the hypothesis.
Yeah.
So, but I have always wanted to take all my big boys and make an MU set out of them, and make them all run together. I always thought that would be fun, but that's a lot of work, so I haven't.
You can still.
Um, so when you drag and drop the locomotive into the MU box, where you see the two locomotive icons now, the first locomotive that you put in there is going to be the primary locomotive, and the Central Station 3 will show the functions of that locomotive. And those functions will activate the functions identically on the second locomotive also on the function screens, like up here, these functions up here. So because I did map these locomotives identically, the same thing would happen on them. Um, that's kind of a good and a bad thing, and I'll get to that in a minute. So if you're, it, how do I explain this? If you have two different locomotives, excuse me, you hit F0 for lights, and the lights would go on because lights are always F0. But then you get into F1, F2, F3, F4, and just because the icon says it's a rear light in this locomotive, if I had a different type of locomotive, it would actually just activate function F1, not the rear light function if that rear light function was mapped somewhere else for the second locomotive. So basically, what we're what I'm saying is these may have an icon here, but it doesn't correspond to the correct icon in the second locomotive if it's not an identical locomotive. It would correspond to this, the basically the CS3 knows this box as F1, and it would activate F1, whatever that function happens to be on the second locomotive.
Yeah, so it's just going to the function number. It doesn't look to see what the actual function is.
Exactly. There's no logic to it.
Gotcha, gotcha.
All right. So, once you add your locomotives, you click OK. Well, you give it a name, you click OK, and you have an MU set. So what I found out was when you're working on a locomotive, let's say the primary locomotive in this MU set, you can have it on the MU set on one of your sidebars to control the MU, and it would control the functions and the locomotives. It would give them both the same speed. It would give them throw out the code for the functions, and that would work great. But what happens if they're not running the same speed? And that's where I get into on the central station here is the motor synchronization. Now, I've always been of the opinion that as long as they're running close together, you'll be fine. And I haven't heard a good argument as to why they have to be matched perfectly, because I see conversations about locomotive speeds have to be matched perfectly, otherwise damage and this and that. And I've honestly never seen it. I haven't run them a lot, but I've never seen it. I think if they're close enough to each other, it should be fine. And I kind of did a test on this. So what I did was I wanted to get them both running the same speed. And I ran both the locomotives and I as an MU set, but I didn't have them coupled together. So I had them a couple inches apart and let them run on the layout. And I could see one ran slightly faster than the other. So what I was able to do is here in my controls, what I did is I took a 109A and put it on the right hand side and a 109B and put it on the I'm sorry, 109A on the left hand side, 109B on the right hand side. And I was able to control the functions and the motor separately. And so what I was able to do is tune that slower locomotive in to run the same speed. And I found out, as you'll see in the article, that 109A had a throttle of 40 and 109B took a throttle of 42 for them to be very, very, very close together in speed. And all that did was get them kind of synchronized. And it was very much close enough. So I ran them for over an hour together, with one speed being two numbers higher, and neither one was warmer than the other. Nothing happened to them. They ran fine. So if you're taking two identical locomotives, they're probably close enough right out of the box. So what I did notice though was when I wanted to pull up the panel for the MU set in the pop-up control panel, it would cover the right-hand side uh, locomotive. And I didn't want to do that. I couldn't really figure out how to make it so I could see all three panels at once, where I could control a function and the speed trim on both locomotives and the MU set. And what I realized was if I pulled the locomotive inventory panel all the way to the top and it gave me the list of locomotives, and then I click on the MU set, it would move it away from the side panel here, and I could see all three locomotives. Now, granted, this is only because it indexes the locomotives in this inventory tab by whatever I have it. Right now, it was at name, and it just made it so I could do that. So that's kind of a workaround. You can figure out your own way for a workaround. You could have maybe the two locomotives on your central station and the MU set on your tablet or smartphone, something like that. It would all you don't really need to have three different controls, but it it kind of helps when you're trying to do something um when you're trying to do something separately with the locomotives as they're running.
Does that so that will override the? I mean, because the multi-unit obviously adjusts both speeds. So this
Yes.
individual control is trying to like trimming the motor so that they're closer to matched. If you have an offset, is that
Yes, and if you want certain functions on, like you turn the headlight on in the MU and it turns both headlights on, where on the second one I wanted the tail lights on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you can get to your functions and do whatever you want with your functions at that point.
I know you were talking about like any adverse stresses on the
Yes.
offset speeds. I was thinking that if anything, the rubber tires on this would, if it's drastic, that's where you'd have an effect on the rubber tires. The other thing is, not really talking about whether or not the locomotives are lashed together or you have like a midstream locomotive, because that would also function under the MU, right?
Right, but model trains don't really play well with a pusher,
Yeah.
or a helper.
But just kind of bear in mind, because I think I did this. I wanted to see what happens if you had a locomotive in the middle, and the worst case scenario happens that if it's pushing stronger, it could really just, or even if it was too slow, you're causing
Right.
that extra strain on the cars in between, which can derail them. So
Easily when it goes around a corner, yes.
yeah,
So, I also tried these two locomotives. I turned the rear locomotive around and made it run backwards to see how it would run if you're running back to back, as opposed to elephant style. And it seemed to work just as well going backwards. In this locomotive, it doesn't matter which end you have, but that does kind of screw up the lighting uh, functions that I programmed into it. And there wouldn't be a real workaround for that without remapping the lighting functions. So this was basically a test, just a functional test to see if you could do that, and you certainly can. Like if you're using the new modern diesels, like the American diesels, you could run them back to back, and the lighting functions are a little bit more lenient, so to say. There's a lot of lighting functions on them. You could probably get something fairly prototypical if you're running a back to back. Um, I just wanted to see if running one backwards, what I would have to do to make it perform. And there really wasn't much difference. It was just running backwards, and I was still able to do the functions like I had shown before. So, in my additional information here, I note that when you're doing this, you need to do it with locomotives that are built the same. They have the same motor in them. They have the same, you don't have to have the same functions, but at least the same motor and gearing. I would recommend it because That way you're not trying to trim a locomotive. Just because locomotives run the same speed at speed step 10 doesn't mean they're going to run the same speed at speed step 20 if they're different locomotives. So um, that's one thing you have to kind of be aware of and maybe test out yourself if you're going to do that. So the same thing goes for if one's a 5-pole motor, one's a 3-pole motor, or one's a 5-pole armature and a can motor. I just wouldn't recommend doing it because I think you're just asking for trouble, or at least a lot of headache and trimming and getting things set just right. Um, you got to remember that when you're using braking sections, the locomotives are going to respond different in the braking section because the first locomotive will start slowing down and the second locomotive will start pushing it into the braking sections because the second locomotive slider has not entered the braking section yet. So that's a consideration you would have to kind of work around maybe in event programming. I can see a solution for that easily. If you're trying to use a brake module, you would have to. There's several ways you could probably do it. The program
Yeah,
to come on at a certain time, or maybe use an M84 or whatnot. A couple things come to mind, but I'm not going to get into all the
it
situations.
really won't. I would probably say it's not going to work at this level of what's available in the CS3 because you're you're really kind of getting back into that issue where you're trying to track a locomotive's location. So
Right.
it's hard to
So
turn that on for the multi-unit. Yeah.
right. So if one locomotive has a buffer capacitor and one doesn't, I didn't try it with buffer capacitor, so that might be an issue.
Yes.
Um, what you can do is you can turn the locomotives around so the sliders are closer together and to minimize it, but then usually the sliders are on the front of the locomotive, so they don't look good running nose to nose in an MU set. That's about it. Yeah, that was about it for me and my article. I
Well,
tried to think
there's
of a few things, but I couldn't think of everything and test them all. And
well, yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of a can of worms because even if you're
yeah,
talking about it, I'm thinking of various things that are going on there. Now, you talked about the custom functioning, sort of like that lighting, right? And
hmm
that's editing the functions on the locomotive even before it's a multi-unit, right? I mean, you
yes,
can't create,
that's decoder programming
yeah,
basically.
but you can't. I mean, you can't like if you create a multi-unit, you can't edit functions in the multi-unit stream.
No,
Yeah,
no.
because so what I'm getting at is let's say you create a multi-unit and you need to trim out certain aspects or create functions that wouldn't be saved in a profile. Like you can't like you know how we save profiles in the
Yeah,
CS3 and then create another one in case you
yeah.
want
You
another
no, you
locomotive
can't.
in
I don't
reverse.
think you can export it and use
Yeah,
it
it doesn't
again.
work because all the functions are actually part of the decoder, not the
Yeah,
CS3 layout.
right.
Yeah,
And they're easy enough to make an MU set. So
yeah. Because I tried it, I wanted to see what was going to happen with, uneven motor types. So, like you said, it's different. Because I was actually, as you were talking about like different motor types, you can actually go into. I know there's an edit parameter where you can actually adjust the acceleration curve
right.
and not just use the presets, right? So you can actually raise or lower certain aspects at certain speeds.
Yeah.
But that's
And
really getting into like, yeah, if you want to be a pure hobbyist and really work at it, it's going to take some time to actually to smooth out all the kinks, I would think. So
that's definitely a task for a retired person.
you got a couple more years.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. that's definitely worth the discussion.
Yeah.
All right, so where are we here? Now, anybody have any questions on that topic? I did get an email from somebody asking about the webinar on YouTube, and I did
Yeah.
send a reply, unfortunately. So we're kind of suffering at that one. So
Yeah. We did, Stacy did find the email. I went to her Gmail account and we could set up now, but why?
yeah, okay. So well, let's see what happens.
Well, I think you would need the verification code and we have to
Again,
run
yeah.
back and forth and all that stuff.
All
So,
right, let's kind of skip that for now then. Okay, should I kick it in gear?
yeah.
All right. So I'm actually gonna reference my article because we are now talking about the world of operations. And I'm going to thank Rick for actually giving me this topic to deal with.
Because I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was worth, well, it was worth doing the steam locomotives first, but it just kind of minimalizes the impact on the electric or diesel, which I will probably try to tackle in the next webinar. But let's go to the share window. All right, so for those of you who aren't really familiar with, the world of operations creates a cab view experience. So you are sort of like that virtual, you are the virtual conductor. No, wait, engineer? What's the
Engineer.
formal word for it?
But,
Engineer.
and this is only for a CS2 and CS3.
This is only for CS2 or CS3 users. So let me get this window down here where I can look like I'm not looking up at the sky. All right, now it doesn't apply to, now I think Rick and I kind of had a discussion. We're trying to figure out if you can actually configure a non enabled decoder. I haven't really looked at it because that's an afterthought. But if we take a look at how to set up a locomotive in World of Operations, and you get an idea what World of Operations is as we progress. So let's kind of close out some windows. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into edit mode here for a locomotive. And I'll click on what a locomotive that definitely does not have World of Operations. And when you're in the edit screen, you want to go to the setup mode, and you can see here under the operation mode, no World of Operations. And so this is a decoder limitation. So you can select, and it may actually, I didn't verify or not, this could be just your collection of locomotives, and it probably will not actually just select World of Operation locomotives. So let's click on a couple of these things, and you see it just kind of goes to this. This indicates there's probably just that locomotive. You may not have access to World of Operations. So if we want to double check it, I don't know what we got here. Let's click on, yeah, see, it's not going to match this locomotive. So let's cancel that out because I'm really not in the mood to experiment and see if I'm going to blow up something.
Well,
right.
you can cover that as part of your next article too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So now here we're going to a locomotive. Let me cancel that so you see where I'm going. So I'm selecting this locomotive, which was my test loc. We go to setup, and you can see under operation mode that it already sets up for 3 different levels. One is without consumption. This mode is now the default. When they first came out with this style of operation, they were set for with consumption, and we did get a number of questions or complaints, whatever you want to consider them, saying, "Why is my locomotive not moving? It's going really slow." Well, it was set for consumption mode, and when you have something like low fuel, regardless if it on a steam locomotive it's coal, water, and maybe even sand, it prevents the locomotive from running at full speed. So without consumption, let's call it your model train setup. It's going to run regardless. Nothing's going to happen, but you can still use the view window if you wanted to. So this kind of precludes the necessity to replenish your fuel sources. And this is the with consumption is the opposite. This is where you will run low on. Well, sorry, I'm in stop state. So let me get that. Let me get my stop state here. There you go. So this way we can edit it. So you run into these bugs. So kind of, oops, edit mode. All right, so back to setup, and you can now change it to with consumption. With consumption is sort of like the manual entry. It's the intermediate, we could call it intermediate level. You don't have to have any like structured facilities on your layout. So as your train's running, your fuel is going to run low, and at one point you're just going to need to stop and refuel it. The final setup here is maintenance facilities. This is where you're actually going to maybe use track sensors and designated areas on your layout that are your maintenance facilities, like coaling stations, water stations, whatnot. I think we're going to do our example with the consumption mode because, you don't actually see the layout. I'm actually tied into my layout in another room. And, you're not going to see the locomotive run because I don't have a camera in there for that. But we'll set it up for consumption mode. And then we'll just click OK, and it's going to set up the locomotive. And you can see right away the icons here in the lower right are set for consumption mode. This is the default sort of like level. If we were to actually take my screen up to the top so you can actually see the full screen mode, you can see here the same locomotive. Now this one is this same locomotive, and it was interesting that this one shows that there's a level of fuel, my 3 fuel sources for the steam loc, but this one actually indicates that all 3 are empty.
Well, what if you click on it?
So if you click on it, let's see
Okay,
here.
click on the functions. There you go.
Yeah, so you'd have to. So that was good that you asked that. So let's kind of close. Let's see if we can close that out.
Huh.
It's 3-stage. Maybe if we have to click on this function, that's just function, so
Yeah,
that's not
no.
going to do it. But you can't do anything
Okay.
in this multi-mode. Okay, so let's kind of get rid of that. So this one here, you can actually do your reloading and refueling here on this window. Obviously, I didn't really look at this because, and this is just your consumption. Or I don't know if it's the filling
This is probably how fast it consumes the
consumption rate. You mean?
yeah, your consumption rate.
Yeah, I didn't experiment with it. Basically, what I did too, and in the article, I skipped. So, thanks, Rick. Thanks for pointing that out. So basically, when you do want to actually work
E plus.
operations, you can go up to this intermediate level if you want to control, and you have the same degree. And notice how it's like now it's empty. So that was interesting. But in the mode we did it is you pull it all to the opposite corner, and now you actually have the cab view. All right, and
It tells
obviously
you how much you have also right there.
yeah, but this is where we run into the issues because I don't have the experience with steam locomotives that you do, so because I know you're running the steam trains down in Southern California.
First you need a match.
Match. Yeah. Okay, and so you'll see all this stuff in the supplemental manual of your locomotive, and this right here in the middle tells you the name of the locomotive that you're operating, and this tells you your fuel levels. What's not part of the cab view, obviously these are your functions. So if you just need to turn on your lights on or off, it's just a panel here. But the steam locomotives was a confusing one. I didn't look at a diesel one yet, nor an electric, so I don't really know what the interface is. But let's kind of go through it, and I'm just going to show you on this screen rather than referencing. I am looking at the article to recall what I'm doing. So the first thing that you would need to do is you need to open the steam valve, which is actually this knob here. And what it does is it's just an on-off switch. So I'm not basically moving the mouse up or down. It just opens or lowers this. Okay, and then you need to you need to actually have a certain degree of water in these fuel gauges. These are both identical. So this one decreases the water level, right? So
Yeah,
let's
you don't
close
want to do
that.
that.
Let's close that. And this one increases it. And the recommendation setting within the manual is you want it at two-thirds point. So we're going to actually build that up first. And I guess, I don't know if there's an exact sequence to this, but I was just going to go step by step as it is written in the manual. Now, the manual, even though it has those details, it is kind of hard to follow because this diagram is on a different page than the step by step. So you'd be flipping back and forth to figure out which knob you need to turn. I just figured it's easier to do that. In the article, it just kind of sections it off. Now, then we are going to warm the boiler, which is basically your cooling, and that you can see it down here at the bottom of the screen. So what we just basically do is we open up that function. Now this, I wasn't completely aware of at first. It will change gradients depending on how warm it is. So that's good. Now there's a step that we're going to bounce around and we're going to skip around. There's part of the instructions says to release the brake, and you can see here you don't know which way is on or off. And actually, by default, I would have assumed that it was the brake is on, but this is not. The brake is actually off. It's on a release mode. So I would probably suggest taking your mouse and just turning the brake set on. Now you can see as the coal is being loaded and there's sound going on in the other room. You can't hear it obviously because I'm on the monitor, but you can see how the pressure here is starting to increase. That's the bar rating. Okay. And I'm just going to let it build up. The amount of time I took, this is not very much. I'm assuming it's not very much. You can get the locomotive to move, but I think when I was doing this, it wasn't moving very fast. So I kind of reset the brake and just reopened the coal load and just let this rise even higher. But it's kind of something to experiment. I'm not, again, I'm not versed in where my
You know,
pressure levels are if I'm going to blow up my locomotive.
no, but your water level's going down.
Yeah, so yeah, you just kind of have this is where the balancing act begins. So you kind of have to keep this going as you're right. And notice how obviously raising the water, now my pressure's dropped a little bit again. So according to the steps here, we're warming the boiler, and I'm just going to leave this open. I'm not going to close it right now, just to see what loads. But it looks like it's getting pretty full. Like I can close it now. Maybe that helps build up even more pressure. But according to the instructions, now we're going to release the brake. So we'll drag this back here, and we're going to set our direction. Now this is the center direction. So to change your direction, you need to just kind of, you see I'm rotating the wheel clockwise, or if I counterclockwise, it reverses it. Okay. And then you're basically at this point, manual sake, you should be ready to move. And I'm just kind of like overwhelmed with trying to look at details. But eventually, as you turn this, then you can see the pressure's rising and our speed is increasing. So this is basically your throttle at this point.
Blow the whistle, man. Blow the whistle.
You're not going to hear it because the train's at a different. But see how quickly my water level is dropping. So this is that balancing act. How fast you want to go. And this, I'm not too sure exactly how this wheel kind of will affect speed. You open it up.
That's the Johnson bar.
Yeah, but this is your throttle rate, right? This is how fast you're going. But so
Right.
this here.
Well, the throttle's the steam in the steam dome, where the Johnson bar gives you forward and reverse.
Yeah, but do you set it for maximum or do you set it for like half that? You see what
Well,
I'm
it
saying?
depends. When you're taking off, you don't want to spin the wheels, so you know.
So we have to. So maybe you
So
start
you
with this
start off
low,
slowly, and it's a balancing act between the
and then you can
throttle and the
increase that.
Johnson
But
bar. And
won't both of these affect speed?
yes,
Okay, so that's what I didn't know. So it's at like, do you set this for maximum when you just want to go like halfway?
probably once you're going, you go maximum, but starting out, you start slowly.
Oh, so
I
you
mean,
have to.
you don't take off with your car with at a green light, just punch the pedal all the way down, do you?
Well, well, again, this is the throttle here, right? So this
Right.
is like if this was half, would you want the Johnson
Well,
up and just set this
no,
for
no,
off?
the wheel is more of leverage, okay?
Mm,
A lever. When you're closer to the center, there's very little leverage, and you're
yeah.
not going to spin the wheels. But when you're trying to go fast, you have it all the way extremely to the top, like you do there.
Yeah,
And
so I mean, now we're getting into the finer points of
yeah,
actual locomotive operations. But the thing
yeah,
is, yeah, so this is sort of like if you have a heavy load, do you need to start with more on the Johnson bar or
and probably less. Otherwise, you're going to spin the
less?
wheels.
Okay, so then yeah, so and then you can adjust your throttle. But once you're going full
Yes.
speed, it's like yeah, releasing everything. So, and all right, so look, does this so at the upper left gauge looks like maybe I need to actually add more coal.
I sure. What's the lever in the center do?
This one or this
No,
one?
that one, yeah.
Um, I don't really know because this is one of the random things. This isn't covered in the manual, so it's just but I can hear something coming out of the other room, which is shoveling coal.
It's probably a train coming after you.
Yeah. Okay, so now you can kind of see like once you start getting stuff low. Here's a shaker, and this is like I didn't know what the function. Now you see
Shake the
up here
ashes
the
out.
icon on the right says that we need to replenish some fueling. So you can click on that.
Probably sand.
Yeah, and so there's a sanding station, but we stopped the locomotive, and there's your icon moving. So what is that? Water maybe, or is it sand?
The sand's coming up now.
Yeah, so it's fueling. So there's a little bit of mystery because obviously I've never operated a steam locomotive, but now to reverse it, it is a thing where you have to stop the locomotive, set the brake,
And you turn the
and then
wheel
you got to
again
turn
the
the
other way.
Johnson thing again, and
Yeah.
then you can release the brake, and then you can reverse it. But right now we're in a fueling state, so and I think we're full. So you get a little bit of animation. Obviously, your scenery's not going to change other than the fact that we're fueling. Pressure's level's good. Could use a little bit more water, I suppose. So let's reverse it a little bit. I'm already set. We'll release the brake and give her some speed. Are we moving? Yep. So now I should be going in reverse. But
Well, the thing's gone now. I didn't see which way it
yeah,
was
yeah.
going.
So yeah, it's probably operating. So yeah, so we'll reset the brake, put her back in neutral, and that's pretty much it. That's as far as we got on the, you know, in the article. Let's kind of close up the valve. And yeah, reversing. And like I said, there's this thing not covered in the operations. This is your coal shaker. Also not covered, but it will activate the sound function.
My guess is the lever in the center is the sand.
Yeah, I can hear the coal loading in the other room.
So if you hear a little explosion in your train room, your
Yeah,
boiler exploded.
yeah, I'm gonna have to clean up the track on the layout.
Yeah. Go and see little boiler parts all
Yeah.
over your room.
So yeah, so that's World of Operations. Looks like we had a couple of questions that we might have missed. Each listed loco represents a different view and levers.
Yes.
and icons indicate availability not needed.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not part of the actual programming. First programmer required you to locate the engine exactly, but that was changed with an update. All right,
Yeah,
so
you could
background
go
information.
you could have a designated refueling station point on your layout.
Well, that's what the facilities are, and
Yeah.
the facilities are actually they can be governed by track sensors. So again, there's more wiring involved, and a little bit because I wasn't going to do any of that rewiring in the layout. I didn't really explore that in depth. So, but there you have it. That covers our
Yeah,
ground.
it's kind of fun. I played with that a little bit too and got too frustrated and didn't have time to really learn it.
Well, yeah, the balancing act of keeping your water up and your coal up, it's kind of like it was, to the for the amount of time I was available to put into it, I couldn't, it was frustrating. But I think it would be simpler using either diesel or electric, and I'll explore that. I'll probably explore that next.
Yeah. I've tried those a little bit too, and it is more it is much easier.
But yeah, it is fun. Kind of know what's going on. So. I'll get some simulated explosions on me blowing up a train because my pressure's too high.
I want to
Anyways,
show you something I did.
okay.
Um, I have to pull up a picture here. Sorry. Oh, no, that's not it. Okay, so here at the office, I have a test layout, obviously. Um, oh, we have another comment here. If you want to comment on that,
So you were gonna show me
in
something.
the
I don't see
question and
anything.
answer, you want to
Oh,
comment on that real quick?
all right. Let's see. If you establish facilities, they stay established when you choose the easier level.
Oh, okay. Okay, so here at the office, the test layout, I run um 5 different layouts on my test layout here because I need to
Five.
test.
But name those five, just so people know.
Well, I have two HO, one Trix, one Marklin. I have N, I have Z, and I have LGB at a radius that'll run 1 gauge also.
Oh, cool. Before we kind of get too far away from it, I did have a question from somebody asking about mini tricks having World of Operations. I did go to their tricks website, and I did notice that they did mention World of Operations on some of the mini tricks. That's the end gauge stuff.
Yeah.
So, okay, so just wanted to put that out there for anybody who's interested if they had it for the smaller lokes. So.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is the track plan. And this is just a screenshot of it. Okay. And the top one is my LGB. The bottom one is my Marklin. I didn't need track plans for Z gauge or N gauge or the the tricks because those are basically just ovals.
Yeah.
And my problem was I had to zoom in so far to get to see the labels for the turnouts, for the contacts, for everything. Um, I didn't like that. So what I did was I redid the drawing. Okay, so I could have both my layouts showing on the central station with the contacts and turnout numbers.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of reduced them. So now they're side by side instead of one laying on top of the other.
Well,
And
that's what I
because
was
they're
just
so
going to
much
say.
smaller, I was able to zoom it in more. And, it's a little bit more compact. It's not quite as easy to use, but it's only a test layout. But it is an option that you can use. uh, you know,
Well, I
work
mean,
up the layout.
essentially it boils down. You really don't have to make your drawings to scale.
Exactly.
Like all these gray lines that you have on the LGB, they're just, connection points. You can definitely knock them down, right? So
Yeah.
that's good that now you can see it because that it comes in handy when you can actually identify your articles.
It comes in real handy because I kept having to switch back and forth because I switch from all the different scales on the layout. All the only thing that doesn't run on the Central Station 3 is the Z gauge. Everything else is hooked up to the Central Station 3.
Yeah, and let me just kind of show my layout again, just to kind of address some points. So, I mean, this is mine. If I did, obviously don't have everything on one page. One issue that you want to be aware of is that there's click zones like over here, right? Then
Yeah,
they overlap, so you might
yeah, they
not be
do.
aware of it. If I click on just this label here, let me zoom in here. If I click on this label, you know, you don't really know if you're going to activate the top or the bottom sometimes because they're so close to each other,
Yeah,
right? So you want to have enough spacing between sections, and I tell a lot of users too about this. When you have connecting points, there's a way to connect your layout pages. Like right now here, I can just click on that, and it takes me to this point here, right? So I can go back and forth easily without having to go up to the trackboard menu and pull up the proper layout. So this is a real convenience. And then right now, what I'm looking at is I'm actually looking at the website browser access. And what's nice is if you have the space, you can always create another window and see, sorry, and duplicate the IP address. Okay. And now you can basically pull this page out so you actually have a completely different window. And
yeah.
let me reshare this, and I'll just basically show. I don't know if I can show the full computer page.
Yeah, you can show your desktop.
Yeah, but on a two screen this it only shows one screen at a time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so you can have multiple windows. And maybe what I'll do is I'll do screen one here. And which one is screen one? I'm going to resize this window. Is this screen one? Is that manipulating?
I can't. It doesn't say.
No, but did it go to half screen?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's screen one. And then I can pull up that window I just created. See, now it blocks it out, right?
yeah.
And so we'll just create a screen two. So actually, you can actually have a setup this way where you can have multiple windows, or if you really want to have, like see your articles,
Oh,
or
yay. Now you're gonna have to explain this to everybody because I don't know how you did it.
yeah, yeah. So, but the thing is now you can have different parts of your layout. The access, this is the same. And it's obviously just the way that my layout is laid out on the page. So now you can have this, and if you really needed to have two separate windows, you can. So that's always kind of a cool feature. Stop share. But yeah, well, I'm glad you figured that out, genius.
Well, no, I was just kind of playing with it. I was wondering if I could make it easier for me, and I
Yeah,
know
it
I could have put
does.
a link on there.
Yeah, and that's what I've done on, like, for what you have to do, having at least adding an extra link like from page to page like I did on mine, then it makes it, if they do overlap, it makes it easier to go to the other one really quick.
Yeah.
Because trying to access the trackboard page isn't
Mm.
always the fastest thing, especially
No.
like on the CS2. That was a beast to go through because you had to open it up and then open down the pull down menu and then
Yeah,
select
yeah,
the
yeah.
board you wanted to go to.
I did like that control desk though on the CS2. I like that better than this.
Oh, then the layout page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one profile would has a control desk. And I'm thinking that there might have been a change to it where it prevented that for some reason. It got messy having a control desk as well as this type of a layout page.
Right. I would go with one or the other if I was going to
Yeah.
do one.
Yeah, I'm used to now using this one I'm used to
Yeah.
using these now, with the exception of the fact that every once in a while, if it's zoomed out too far, and this is interesting. Again, we're looking at the web browser, and it doesn't hide the names as easily the
Is on
as
the screen
easily
of
as the
CS3.
interface. So let me go to the interface really quick. And this is the VNC viewer page. This is what you actually see on the CS3 screen. So let's get out of World of Operations here. And let me hide that. And the thing is, this is where, oops, this is going to be a little slow because I'm going through the network. If you zoom out too far, you can see how the names just
Names
disappear.
disappear, and that was my problem.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you just kind of like, this is helps because of like the staging yard is really not that short, but because of where it turns and stuff like that, you'd have the excess lines down here where they're really not necessary. You just, at the worst case, you just need to have, ability to control different parts of your layout. This whole visual representation can be, like I could avoid all these curves and just put these links over here, but it's nice to have them in here. And you can see, I think at one point I actually, because I had a short on one of my sections, I couldn't remember which was powered. So I put this added text to let me know which booster was controlling which part of the track. And you can see this is my one booster and this is the CS. This is power directly connected to the CS3.
Yeah.
So comes in handy for you guys who have large layouts. Yeah, kind of have things where you can actually notify your and stuff, because I found out that the short was on this track that gets a little use, but I'm working on it because there's a bridge on it up above, so I don't really know if I can access it from here. So you see how I have the double slip here. The short was happening on this extension, which I haven't done a track plan for. So,
Okay.
but I thought it was it's like, what's powering this? What am I shorting? So anyways,
As we all go through that. Everybody does at some
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Finding a short.
But you can kind of see, as the previous point, if you're looking at the web browser page, which is, again, it's this one here, I believe. This is the display on the web browser page. It's really different from the VNC viewer or the CS3 screen, and
Yeah.
zooming in and out doesn't really hide those texts. It just makes them hard to read. So, but you do have some features on that. The other thing to be aware of is that you can't edit a lot of things. Like, you can't see, there's no edit access on your events on the browser. You have to use either, if you're going to do this on a PC or different controller, you have to use the VNC viewer. So you can edit certain things, but it's not it's not a full list as you can on the CS3. So. All right. Okay. So I think we're basically out of our formal stuff. What
So
do you
now
got
we can
new?
goof off.
Do you got anything new?
Yeah, I got a couple new items.
I do too. I only got like one really new item, and then I did receive the Christmas car. So should we talk about the Christmas car for the year?
Yeah, go ahead and take yours out. I have mine right here, but I'm not going to take it out.
Yeah, I'll take it out so that we can cut down.
48425. 25 is always the year. 484 is the Christmas car, at least in the current numbering scheme that they're using.
It was really hard to see the color on the in the box, but
Yeah, with that plastic on it, it
yeah.
really it really does look good.
So here, I'll just leave it in the. Sorry, I got my window blocking my own screen. I can't see what I'm saying. So, oops, there you go.
There you go. You took it out of the box. Nice.
Took it
going.
out of the box.
Not new anymore. And that gold is a much better gold than comes through on the on the camera.
There you go.
Oh yeah, you got a broken buffer. Made you look.
Yeah, you did. Oh, bastard. Wouldn't have hurt damaged it that much. Oh, what's the stray bit of plastic on my desk? No.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So yeah, there's the Christmas car for this year. I'm still missing that one. I found somebody on auction online, but
Is that the gondola with the Christmas ornaments on it?
yeah, they wanted
golden-
what, $59 for it.
Yeah. Well, that's about what it was new. So
So haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but I probably could.
I did get my my Rio Grande caboose
Oh, did you?
45713.
Oh, did I?
Um,
I don't think I received one. I don't know. Maybe I didn't
I
order.
think you ordered one, but you might have to check with Stacy.
Okay.
And I had this brought from Germany. Okay, and this is 45525. This is the car that they give out, not give out, you can buy at the factory when you do the factory tour during the
Oh,
Marklin
nice.
days.
Nice.
Now we actually have some of these in stock, so if anybody wants to order them, you can order them from your dealer while we have them. 45525.
What's special about that? Entice our viewers to ordering one.
Well, like I said, it's available when you take the factory tour. We happen to get a quantity of them. It is a nice looking car, nice silver car.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And
I
it's
always
one of
like
the
that
dump
scheme.
cars. So the sides open and it dumps.
Sign me up.
So it's got the little lever for that'll activate on an uncoupler and it will open up
Well, I feel
on
like
a
cheating
hard.
because I've never had that tour, but
There we go.
let's have Stacy put one on order for me.
Yep, you'll have to mention it to Stacy.
Yeah, why don't you do that for me if you don't mind?
What do I look like, your little whipping boy? What's this?
Bitch. That's a good biatch.
And you got the Rio Grande locomotive, right?
I did. No, I got the this one.
Oh, Central of Georgia, yeah. Yeah, I have mine right there.
Yes.
But the Rio Grande F7, did you order that?
I believe I did. Didn't we get that a while ago though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we got it on the last run.
It's probably, a couple layers down in your pile.
Which pile?
Well, the newest one or the closest one.
I gotta call Mike over, help me find it.
If anybody would know.
Yeah. That's a can of worms. That's a trouble just waiting to be brewed.
Yeah, we're not going to mention who that is exactly.
All right. Let's see. Anything else, I think.
I think I mentioned it. I'll be at Reynolds this weekend.
Oh,
This
yeah,
Saturday.
yeah. I thought I was almost thinking that
Anybody in the
maybe you did.
Chicago area want to come by and um, say hi?
You're
I think it's
taking
from like
off
1 to
Thursday.
4 or something like that. I
You taking
forget.
off Friday or on the weekend?
We're flying into Chicago on Friday.
Okay. Well, have fun there.
Yeah, shouldn't be too cold, right? And
To
wear shorts.
Chicago.
Go see a
Yeah.
baseball game.
Yeah, go for it. Are you gonna?
Yeah,
Cool.
got my tickets and everything. This guy in the corner was selling them to me.
God, the
Got a
corner,
great deal.
the
Right
corner in
behind home plate.
the corner in Chicago.
Yeah, it's only $500 a ticket. Can you believe that for this weekend's game?
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun at Reynolds. All right, cool. Let's see. Yeah, it feels so weird not having the YouTube feed. Anybody got questions? Anybody want to chime in with a question?
Comments, funny stories.
We got our holidays. You got your holiday week. This is enjoy your, wow, we're only what, second week into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, that's about all, we got going.
Yep.
Um, till the end of January where we go to, when is that? Amherst, January 24th and 25th.
Is there any product announcements? The catalogs aren't going to be sent out yet, right?
No, the new items don't come out until Nuremberg Toy Fair. That's when they announce them. So,
Yeah.
and they don't tell us anything, so I have no idea uh, what the
Yeah.
new items are, what I'm going to have to buy.
And yeah, shoot, I feel like I haven't looked at a catalog in a while, but who knows? I might have a heavy order somewhere.
Yeah.
Kind of went light this year, which is good for me.
Yeah, I was really happy with the fall new items. I didn't have to buy anything.
Cool. I know you got that one gray locomotive that I didn't get. I didn't order.
The black, the Austrian 50.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that sums up everything pretty much. You got your show coming up, Reynolds.
Yep.
And then you're uh and then after that it's January, right? That's where you're
Yeah.
traveling at again.
Yep. 24th and 25th. So
Cool.
I think that's all we got, folks.
I think so, unless we answer some technical questions that we got on email, but there are relating to something that's usually unusual, like the rebooting on the CS3. Don't know what that's all about, but possibly not shutting it down. Mini tricks we covered. Yeah, I think that's it. So I guess at that point, without any questions, we wish you guys all a happy holidays and a new year, because we won't have anything. Visit
No,
Rick
our next webinar would be,
February.
yeah, February what? It would be February 11th, it looks like.
Yes. Yep. So, hope you enjoyed that or it was informative for you. If you guys have any questions, definitely send them into digital@marklin.com, where one of us will eyeball it. I know Rick is very
And
good
then
about seeing those.
we will promptly ignore you.
Yeah, busy lives, I guess. And I usually get notified from Rick that there's an email waiting for me. Let's
Uh,
see if
Carlos,
anybody.
thank you for your greetings. And Cobus,
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you. Happy holidays to you guys. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, enjoy your holidays and stay warm wherever it's super cold. And if you're in Australia where it's possibly super warm for you, stay cool. Anyways, okay. I think,
Yeah, I
should we
think
call
that's
it?
it.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Same holidays. See you again. You
See ya.
take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. John, take care. Happy holidays, man. Let's end the. See, do I need to end the live stream?
There's no live